Greg Ehrenberg here with another Awesemo PrizePicks video. Today I'm going to be looking at wide receiver props and the receiving yards. If you guys are new to PrizePicks, head on over to the site and use the promo code Awesemo when you make your first deposit. Get up to a $100 bonus on the first deposit you make. First player I'm looking at is Julio Jones for over 1,500 receiving yards. Julio Jones now on the Tennessee Titans, and I think he's getting docked a little bit here just because of his health issues from last year. He only played in 9 games, finished with 771 receiving yards. But still, that's a pretty good per-game average in terms of receiving yards, and there's a couple of reasons he missed a lot of games. Surely, injuries were an issue, but also the Falcons were not competitive last year. There was no reason to rush Julio Jones out onto the field. If you look at his other seasons, he hadn't gone under 1,000 receiving yards since 2013. There's a whole lot of weapons in this Titans offense. A.J. Brown on the other side of the field, Derrick Henry in the running game. I think that Ryan Tannehill is an underrated quarterback. This should be a great offense this year. While there are other weapons on the team that's going to spread out the usage in the offense, still, I think this should mean softer coverage for Julio Jones. He's going to be seeing weaker competition on defense where he was used to getting double covered a lot in Atlanta. So I think this is a good spot for him to go over his receiving yards prop. The next player I'm looking at is Tyler Lockett for over 1,500 receiving yards, the same exact number that I just talked about with Julio Jones. So with Tyler Lockett, he's gone over 1,000 receiving yards in back-to-back years. He was really inconsistent last year, and a lot of his numbers were buoyed by just a couple of individual games. But still, the Seahawks made a pretty big financial commitment to him in the offseason. They signed him to a 3-year contract extension. DK Metcalf is going to be the number one receiver going forward. But still, Tyler Lockett has Russell Wilson throwing him the football. He's gone over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons. I like him to make it 3 in a row this year. The final player that I'm looking at is Jamaar Chase for under 1,025.5 receiving yards. I like Chase a lot as a prospect. It's just not all that often that we see rookie wide receivers have great seasons. Justin Jefferson was great last year. I think that could be causing the line here for Chase to be a little bit inflated. People are expecting something similar, but the Bengals still have massive issues on the offensive line. T. Higgins is still going to also play a really big role in the receiving game, so it's not even clear if Chase is going to be the number one receiver who's going to be targeted this year by Burrow. And Burrow coming off a really significant leg injury, while he looked great while he was on the field last year, who knows how healthy he's going to look at the start of this year. There's enough question marks surrounding Chase. I don't feel comfortable going over such a big receiving yard prop for Jamaar Chase. So to recap, the 3 players that I'm looking at over on PrizePicks are Jamaar Chase under his receiving yards prop, and then the over receiving yards props for Julio Jones and Tyler Lockett. Both of them set at 1,500 yards. Now, there's a couple of different ways to play this over at PrizePicks.com. The first thing you need to do, though, is head on over to the site and use the promo code Awesemo to get up to a $100 match deposit bonus. And then once you've done that, you can either make these guys a power play, which is all 3 of them. If you're confident that all 3 props are going to hit, you could get a 5x payout on those. Or you could do a flex play where you only need 2 out of the 3 to hit. And if that happens, you get 1.25x. Or if you do the flex play and all 3 hit, you get 2.25x your entry fee.